Won on a road course. He won in Charlotte. He gets the job done on a lot of different type of racetracks. He's just very, very solid. And I tell you, another thing about him, he's a fierce competitor, but he just rallies people around him because he has a great personality, and that rubs off on them and shows them just how much he loves doing what he's doing and the opportunity that he's being given.
So Gordon and Boyer racing for the win here. They're 14 seconds ahead of third place Eric Almirola. Do they have enough fuel to the finish? And how does that play out in the final 4 laps? Boyer eating into Gordon's gap little by little each lap around.
Yeah, he's closing it down. If Gordon has to save any fuel at all and Boyer doesn't have to, he might can get to that back bumper.
Brad Keselowski still in 17th position, a lap down after the insurance pit stop. Just working his way through these final laps on his way to a championship. Dale, a story that you can certainly relate to, a local short track racer, the son of a racer, started out knocking around on the same short tracks where his dad did, and trying to follow in the footsteps of an accomplished father in the sport. Never the easiest thing, finding funding, finding opportunities. And yet, this young man has shown that for a local short track racer in this modern day and age of NASCAR, you can still find a way all the way to the top.
Yeah, some of those stories that he was talking about where he'd carry a little briefcase and had his books in there and, to read about chassis. I don't know how I was doing that, but I was certainly around the racetrack a lot with my dad. And you know, just because your father has been successful, there are no guarantees. You have to continue to work hard. And Brad Keselowski has certainly done that. And it's just been fun to watch him come through the Nationwide Series, become a champion there, and then quickly take this Roger Penske team to a championship.
Jeff Gordon has stabilized the lead over Clint Boyer. Boyer slipping back a little bit from where he was a couple of laps ago. Do they have enough fuel to make the final 3 miles here at Homestead and get to the checkered flag 1 and 2?
I'm sure as Boyer came in here, though, he really wasn't thinking about it. He knew he was in a battle for the 3rd spot. All of a sudden, the doors open for him to finish 2nd in the points.
With all they've accomplished, almost unfathomable that Hendrick Motorsports has never won at this Homestead Miami Speedway. They are 1 lap away as the captain has showed up in his team's pit down from the top of the tower for the final lap. Jeff Gordon leading the race. Brad Keselowski in charge of the championship. After what has been, it's fair to say, one of the more tumultuous weeks of his storied NASCAR Sprint Cup career, checkered flag and a win at Homestead for Jeff Gordon. And the checkered flag and a NASCAR Sprint Cup championship for Penske Racing and Michigan's Brad Keselowski.
We did a great job. What an awesome season. Let me introduce you to your 2012 Sprint Cup champion right here, guys.
Brad said he didn't know what it would feel like to be a champion. Well, he's going to know now. Paul Wolf paired together with Brad a couple of years ago, winning the NASCAR Nationwide Championship. One of the bright minds in the sport, considered by many to be a dynamic duo, these two.
Now, I'm not sure this isn't just the start. We don't want to overlook this first one, but this is a team that keep this together. A lot of good people involved there that could certainly make a difference. How about Dodge going out and they get the championship, leading the sport right now? And you take that with the lame duck engine program over at Penske and how they were able to give them good engines, great power to win this championship.
There's the victory celebration. The other end of the story, Jimmy Johnson going out of the race with mechanical failure about 3/4 of the way through. Jamie?
Well, at one point of this race, he was on top of the points over Brad Keselowski, then the issue on pit road, then ending up back here. Can you describe what these moments have been like for the last 20 minutes?
Yeah, pretty heartbreaking, you know. We were doing what we needed to. And certainly in position, putting a lot of pressure on the 2 car, but it's racing, stuff happens. Stuff out of my control, certainly, so I just got to reflect back on an amazing year and just a ton of effort for everybody, Hendrick Motorsports, especially this 48 team. Great support from Lowe's, Chevrolet, my fan base, my wife and daughter. You know, definitely not the result we wanted, but you know, I'm very proud of how we raced all year long, the success we had on track, and the pace we had on track. Didn't get the result, but that's life. We'll come back next year and try again.
All right, 5-time champion ends his day in the garage. Alan?
Certainly a terrific fight for the championship between Jimmy Johnson and Brad Keselowski. And I think the burnout session's over because there's no more rear tires on that 2 car.
What a terrific job Brad has done just all year long. Just incredible to watch him every single one of these racetracks.
And for Roger Penske, he called it winning a NASCAR Sprint Cup championship, said it would be the pinnacle of achievement in motorsports. And Dave, for a guy who's accomplished so much, he's just achieved the pinnacle for him.
He has. We'll ask him about it now as guys from the blue and the yellow teams come over to congratulate him. So many people here tonight to see this possibly happen. And now that it has, Roger, what's the feeling?
Well, I'll tell you, it's been a great season. I just can't take my hat off enough to all of the great guys on our team, you know, from Brad, obviously, Paul Wolf, and the whole team, Travis Geisler, when you think about Mike Nelson, Scott Curry, all those guys that built those great engines. Not one failure all year long in that Dodge engine. So I want to thank Dodge for what they've done for us and all the people. And this win goes to all these servicemen around the world that have put so much in their hearts for us to keep us safe and secure. So for me, it's just a double win.
Why is this so difficult? Why was it so hard to get here, Roger?
Well, I think the competition is just, you know, so super. And you think about the people that have won this series over the years. You know, Rick Hendrick's a great friend of mine. You can see Johnson, those guys are right there, right down to the last few laps. But it's just something that you have to work on, and these guys are the best.
And that makes it a little sweeter, right?
Absolutely.
Sweet night indeed for Penske Racing and that man, Roger Penske, Alan.
The cup to the captain, finally.
23 full-time seasons before he gets his first one.